body cam footage released.
I was shocked, man. Like, it's crazy because it all happened so fast, man.
On the incident Tyreek Hill had with officers before Sunday's game. Election season kicks off today.
Who of these two candidates is saying something that will address the issues?
Where to watch the presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And death of a Hollywood icon.
It's okay. It is something that happens to all of us.
Remembering the life of the late James Earl Jones. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Julian Lascano.
And I'm Emma Alonso. Today is Tuesday, September 10th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Miami Dolphins star Tyreek Hill speaks out as the police body cam footage from his tough takedown goes public. New body cam footage released by Miami-Dade Police shows a tense moment when Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill was pulled over near Hard Rock Stadium.
Hill, who was visibly frustrated, asked officers just to give him the ticket. Police Director Stephanie Daniels released a statement saying that while standard protocol is to release footage after an internal review, it was released early in a commitment to transparency and maintaining public trust.
Keep your window down, I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Get out! What part of dollars do you understand? Hey Drew, I'm getting arrested, Drew.
I was shocked, man. Like, it's crazy because it all happened so fast, man. It was crazy, you know, and me being a father, me being a husband and all that, man, I would just put myself in that situation like, hey, I gotta be smart.
Get out!
In an interview with CNN, Hill emphasized the importance of remaining calm and focused in difficult situations. The incident remains under review. Today, presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump share a stage for the first time.
The face-off starts at 9 p.m. in Philadelphia, just a short train ride from our nation's capital. Caplin News DC reporter Anthony Cruz is live in Washington with a preview of debate day.
Good morning. Vice President Harris and former President Trump will square off tonight at 9 in Pennsylvania to see who gets to sit there in 2025. The debate will take place, as I mentioned, the debate will take place in Pennsylvania. And let me remind you, last time that we had a debate, it changed the entire course of the election cycle. This one will be just as big, but for other reasons, as people try to figure out who Kamala Harris is and what her policies specifically are, and if Donald Trump can compose himself.
The rules will remain almost identical to Trump and Biden's debate in June. 90 minutes with each candidate having 2 minutes to answer questions with the same time to rebuttal. Microphones will be turned off when the other candidate is speaking. And after conducting her first interview since launching her campaign this month with CNN, Harris and her team have been conducting mock debates in Pittsburgh for the past week, going as far as building a mock television stage. Trump, on the other hand, held a rally over the weekend in Milwaukee and has been hosting informal policy sessions in Mar-a-Lago with Florida Republican Representative Matt Gaetz and former Hawaiian Democratic Representative Tulsi Gabbard, who did share the stage with Harris in the 2019 Democratic primaries.
Trump has done this 7 times now, that he has a history of making a sort of mockery of this platform. It's a tough platform to hold someone accountable when you're trying to get to the issues. And he has a history of not telling the truth about different positions. So I'm sure she's aware of that.
The New York Times CNN poll shows that Harris is losing the Midwest and non-college educated white voters, demographics that are key to winning battleground states like Michigan and Pennsylvania. And a CBS poll in Pennsylvania released yesterday showed that 53% among that demographic of white non-college voters in the state think that the economy will get better for working class people under Trump, while only 27% said the same for Harris. Republicans are leaning into that messaging.
So what's going to make the difference is their records. This is a very unusual presidential election. We have a former president running for office, first time in more than 100 years. People remember that when Donald Trump was in office, prices were low, wages were high, we had peace and stability around the world.
Now, of course, the economy will be the biggest factor tonight in the debate, sorry. However, there are other interesting polls that CBS News released yesterday that do indicate some other tales that we could tell in the debate. For example, 71% of people from Wisconsin polled said that they found Trump's comments about Kamala Harris, quote, insulting, and that they did not like it, so that there could be an effect there. Also, Reuters reported yesterday that there will be pro-Palestinian demonstrations, as we saw at the DNC and the RNC outside outside, and police are bracing for that. A consolation for Harris now that she's kind of losing those northern battleground states as Trump is catching up in that margin of error, is that she's regaining ground in the southern states that she's been trying to, as you see, she's had a very aggressive campaign in Georgia, where she was down 7 over a month ago, according to the New York Times and Siena poll. A poll from the Hill shows that she is tied. In fact, she's within the margin of error in North Carolina, according to the majority of polls, and in Florida, an Emerson poll released last Friday showed that she is only down 5 points to Donald Trump. So again, like I said, like we've been saying, this election is a toss-up, and as I said at the start, we're heading into the final sprint. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Anthony Cruz.
As president of Palm Beach County, former President Donald Trump said he would vote a ballot measure in Florida that aims to legalize adult recreational use of marijuana. In his post on Truth Social, Trump said it was time to end needless arrests and incarcerations for small amounts of marijuana for personal use. This decision came as a surprise to many, since it puts him at odds with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and other Republican leaders in the state.
Award-winning actor James Earl Jones has died. While Jones was well known for many roles he played on Broadway, television, and film, it was his signature voice, that booming baritone, that made him stand apart. As CNN's Randy Kay reports, Jones' career spanned more than 6 decades.
Tonight, he owns the most famous voice in America.
That most famous voice belongs to none other than James Earl Jones.
This is CNN.
For decades, Jones was the voice of CNN. He first recorded those 3 words, "This is CNN," in 1989 to mark CNN's upcoming 10-year anniversary.
It was so short. I mean, it took 5 minutes, right? And I forgot it.
But perhaps his most famous line is this.
No, I am your father.
Darth Vader was originally played by a different actor, but the way Jones tells it, director George Lucas decided he needed a more sinister voice.
Called me and said, "You want to do a day's work?" And I said, "Yeah."
A day's work?
2.5 hours, yeah.
That's all the Darth Vader language is in 2.5 hours?
Yeah, a few $1,000, and I went home.
How'd he master Vader's voice?
The key to Darth Vader is a narrow band of expression, no inflections. He's not human.
His movie credits extend well beyond Star Wars. Jones also appeared in Field of Dreams, The Lion King, and Patriot Games, to name a few. All of this from a man who struggled as a child to speak. He opened up to Larry King in 1993 about his childhood stutter.
You were a stutterer?
Yeah, a stutterer, a stammerer. I still am, and you'll hear me tonight, stutter, I'm sure. I just, I fake it.
You stutter, come on. And so you stayed silent?
It was so embarrassing and painful to talk, because the kids in the back row would laugh. And it was painful for the stutterer. And I just decided to go mum.
In fact, Jones hardly said a word from age 6 to age 14. But after a teacher helped him write and read poetry,
and he discovered I wrote poetry, and he got me to read my poetry in front of the class, and when I did, it didn't stutter.
Jones eventually found his distinctive thundering voice, and those vocal cords of his launched a career he'd never imagined. Not just Hollywood, but Broadway, too. He won 3 Tony Awards, including one in 1969, for his role in The Great White Hope.
Is your wish coming true, huh?
Never this, John.
He may not have done it all, but for James Earl Jones, he'd done enough.
Death is okay. It is something that happens to all of us.
James Earl Jones was 93.
That was CNN's Randy Kay. No cause of death was revealed. A representative said he was surrounded by family when he died yesterday.
A mother in Iowa is paying more for her son's ADHD medication after an employment change impacted her insurance coverage. CNN's Abigail Curtin has more on this issue and how it's affecting millions of Americans.
It took years and trying multiple drugs for Heidi Hora to figure out which ADHD medication worked best for her son. But after several attempts, they finally found one, Concerta. It's a name brand drug her son has been on for years, costing an average of $55 to $75 a month. But last week, a pharmacist told her it would be over $700.
We had no choice but to pick it up for him because Friday he wouldn't have had any medication to go to school, drive a car.
She started a new job with new insurance last month, and that plan doesn't cover her son's prescription. That means a medication that used to cost about $70 a month is now 10 times that.
To think that his success is dependent on what I do for work, where I work, what insurance I have, it's devastating.
One pharmacy researcher says the cost of a prescription is the result of a complicated negotiation system between manufacturers, insurance companies, and middlemen called pharmacy benefit managers. And newer drugs that are still trademarked can be even more expensive.
I've also seen people taking less medication than they're prescribed because they're kind of stretch out their day's supply to last longer, which, is not what we want to see from the effectiveness of the medication.
As for Hora, she's working with her son's doctor to appeal to the insurance company, saying the generic medications don't work for him. But until then, she'll be stuck paying hundreds more.
Today marks World Suicide Prevention Day, a global effort to raise awareness and prevent suicides. The International Association for Suicide Prevention organized the day, highlighting the importance of support and action. In the U.S., the 988 Suicide Prevention Hotline is now in its second year, offering immediate help. Globally, suicide claims 800,000 lives annually, with young adults aged 15 to 29 most at risk. The campaign urges everyone to reach out and support those who may be struggling.
Early this morning, the Polaris Dawn mission lifts off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center here in Florida. The revolutionary SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket aims to make history on its 5-day trip with a 4-person civilian crew strapped within the Dragon capsule. Although the launch has been postponed several times due to weather and helium difficulties and issues, the spacecraft is expected to be in the highest that a human has ever flown since the Apollo program.
The Marlins travel to Pittsburgh and look for success in the Steel City in their series against the Pirates.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
Hey, I have this phone, I have this capability, and I can do something on it that I can't do on previous models.
The iPhone 18 hits shelves later on this month, and we're taking a closer look at its newest features. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy. Buzzed and overshared again? Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Bill is a family man. He invests his money wisely and provides a good life for his children. Just one problem. He often opens emails from senders he doesn't know, and his computer is not password protected. One day, Bill checked his bank account and 94% of malware attacks originate from emails. Don't be like Bill. Take your cybersecurity seriously.
Apple update. The countdown to the release of the new iPhone has begun. Artificial intelligence or Apple intelligence. Apple introduced the new iPhone 16 yesterday, the first of its kind to have been built with generative artificial intelligence.
From Silicon Valley, ABC 7's Zach Fuentes has more on the new iPhone.
Introducing the iPhone 16. It's Apple's first iPhone built specifically for generative artificial intelligence, or as the tech giant calls it, Apple Intelligence.
Apple Intelligence is going to transform so much of what you do with iPhone.
There's a lineup of 4 iPhone 16 models, phones capable of handling a more advanced version of Siri.
Siri will follow along if you stumble over your words.
Hey Siri, who is the architect behind the Museum of... Wait, no, not the museum. The Palace of Fine Arts.
Bernard Maybeck designed the Palace of Fine Arts.
They'll also feature things like a customizable action button that will replace the mute button, letting phone owners do things like translate a phrase or turn on a flashlight. They'll be equipped with a physical button that opens the camera.
The camera control elegantly blends hardware and software. When you click, it launches the camera.
Some of the features shown at Monday's event were previewed at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference in June, and the stakes for Apple have been high, with the company coming into the AI game later than others. Many have looked to Apple's jump into AI as an opportunity for it to improve iPhone sales. Many of the Apple AI functions announced will be part of the newest update to iOS 18. The new smartphones will be in store September 20th. Tech expert Mark Vina said Monday's announcements could take some time to really motivate the average person to go out and buy the latest model.
I think it's going to require some type of killer application that may not even be available yet, or something that, hey, I have this phone, I have this capability, and I can do something on it that I can't do on previous models.
Apple also announced new models of its Apple Watch and AirPods, each boasting capabilities that can help improve health and fitness. The newest iPhones coming to stores later this month will cost between $800 to $1,200. In Silicon Valley, Zach Fuentes, ABC7 News.
It's business as usual for the Marlins as they start their series against the Pittsburgh Pirates with a loss. Pittsburgh's O'Neal Cruz opened up the scoreboard with a deep shot to center field for a solo run, followed with another 2-run single by the Pirates, making the score 3-0. Miami's Otto Lopez line drove through right field for the RAB single. Opening the score for the Marlins' final score was Marlins 2, Pittsburgh's 3. The Marlins continue their series with the Pirates later on today.
And that's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Emma Alonso.
I'm Julian Liscano. You can get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.